chair coordinates fall and spring collections, an officer fall retreat, and a spring transition retreat with the vice chairs. And our candidate today is Jerel Vega.
Hi everybody, I'm Jerel. I'm a third year premier, and the reason why I'm running for chair is because I've been in and out of the KP space for most of my life here at UCSD, and thinking back, like what has really retained me in UCSD is KP. KP has introduced me to the cross, to SAC, to social justice and diversity issues, and also to my love and passion for Filipino American issues, history, culture. And I wanted to come back my fourth year because I wanted to give back and become a resource for the space. And I think my main goals, as if I was elected chair, I would really work on maintaining and ameliorating relationships with KP Core, KP Star, SAC, and Kapatao. Also, I wanted to help facilitate personal identity, personal, and leadership growth for board members, because board is a very difficult, frustrating, but rewarding experience. And I want to be able to help board members realize why they're doing this work, and also introduce a lot of Filipino American issues, and also introduce social justice into board. Yes.
Okay, now it's open for questions.
Well, because there's no one running for vice chair external, I'm going to throw a FCC question. So I know your position's not directly related to FCC, but I do feel like chair, because you do have that beginning of the year retreat with the other FCC chairs. I was wondering, what is your take on FCC, and what is your take on FCC, and how do you feel, what do you think about FCC?
I think the Filipino Collegiate Collaborative is really crucial because it offers communication between all these schools that seem far apart, but actually are close. And I think that's what makes San Diego different from SC Pasa, because SC Pasa is like the whole Southern California. But FCC is important because it brings USD, San Marcos, SDSU, and UCSD closer, and we could utilize each other's resources. FCC is important because I think there's a lot of growth and development when we interact with each other, and it's also challenging ourselves, like, well, we're comfortable with this space, but SDSU does something different. What if we adopt that? How would that work for our campus?
Still thinking.
No, I have a question. Let me just formulate.
First one? Huh?
Do you have the report?
Yes. Okay, and Rachel asked first.
Okay, so it's a two-part question concerning like your step back from the space this year. And so the first part is how will your step back help you and hurt you as a chair? And then part two, from like that step back, what did you observe as KP's strengths and weaknesses this year, and how do you plan on addressing them next year?
So the first question is how stepping back has helped and hurt me. So on my second year, I was on board as social awareness, and I think after that experience, I was really frustrated coming out of the space, and I wanted to step out because I wanted to take time for myself and explore other outlets for social justice and diversity. And so I interned at the Cross Culture Center, and being an intern at the Cross Culture Center is amazing. It has the staff, the pro staff, and the other interns have helped me heal, and also have helped me grow, and have also helped me look at a lot of things within a social justice perspective. And I think it'll help me be chair because I think I'm ready to tackle a lot of the criticism that chair faces, because chair is not an affirmative position. All you'll get is criticism. And being at the Cross has helped me with healing, and also with constructive criticism, and also thinking about everything's not perfect, and always thinking about other alternative other media, other outlets. So I think that's how it helped me. How it'll hurt me is being a part. I wasn't a part of this space this year except for PCC, and I think my disconnect with the first years was one thing that'll hurt me, and also my disconnect with my class. I know I wanted to utilize PCC as a space for me to get to know the younger heads, because we need to foster, as upper heads, we need to foster the youth so that they can be encouraged and empowered to take leadership positions in KP. And I think that's what I'm still working on right now. I'm still trying to get to know the first years, and I'm still trying to bond with my class. And can you repeat the second part?
Second part is, so from your step back, what did you observe as KP's strengths and weaknesses, and how do you plan on addressing them next year?
Stepping back, I think a strength for KP is numbers. KP does well because it retains a lot of its members. A weakness, I think a weakness would be, it's not technically a weakness, it's an area of growth. How it's a social space. And a lot of criticism has come from KP as a social space, but people don't realize that social spaces are necessary. That not all spaces can be inherently just political, but I want to work on balancing social with academic, political, and cultural. And not just like having separate GBMs about social and another GBM about political. I want to be able to incorporate all of space into one GBM so that GBMers could feel like they experience space. And it's really hard with political because I remember as social awareness, me working with Maria and Lawrence, it was really hard coming up with a political issue that wouldn't be heavy, but as I've learned working at the causes, all political issues are heavy, and there is no baby way to address it, and everything is inherently political. School is political, personal lives are political, media is political. I mean, I think the first step for that is just to have everybody realize that everything is inherently political.
Now,
So I think that you mentioned something that resonates with me very much, and that's leadership development and support. And I think one of the key ways that is done is through retreats. So how will you go about planning your retreats? What would you think would be emphasized or gone over? Maybe like your take on retreats.
Retreats are really important because they set up the foundation of the team. So looking at the cross, I would base my retreat, like the board member retreat, on the cross retreat. So a lot of the activities will focus on teamwork, but also a lot of the activities will focus on self-critical thinking, and also a lot about identity thinking and introduction to social justice. So talking about the cycle of oppression, cycle of liberation would be one way to introduce that. I think that's the best way for me to utilize retreats, is just to really focus on teamwork and also personal development and self-critical activities.
okay. This is gonna be a weird question. But noticing that there's only, I think, 8 applicants, and knowing that you're probably one of the only people returning as a board member, how will you, everyone else is new essentially, how will you foster that leadership development, but at the same time kind of impose, I don't know if it's the right word is agenda, but like what you want to set out. So do you see that like it's kind of
Yeah.
a shift in?
So the first part was foster leadership development, and then the second
And then
part
knowing
was,
that it's a small board and a very new.
first of all, I would still publicize the board positions, so that's one. But to foster, I think it's much easier to foster development and leadership growth with an intimate board because the connections can be made faster, and it would be the same way like through discussions, it would be sharing, it would be through a lot of intense activities, like because that's the only way to get through things. You can't really accomplish anything with just regular activities or just activities that kind of address something and just leave it out there for the open. It has to be really intense to set up that connection, to show that we're emotionally vulnerable and that we're all also open to learning from each other. And the second part is I really, like, in terms of the other positions, my only agenda for them is for them to do their best. Like, if they need help with their certain position and if I can't be there, I would contact their past predecessors and I would have them get in contact with them and they would talk. Another thing is, especially for outreach, youth empowerment, I would have them talk to CORE because they're a big aspect of CORE, and CORE is the best resource for access and for access for KP Filipino Americans. It's the same thing for academic alumni. Like I would have them talk to STAR. It's just really like utilizing your resources and your past connections to do well. Like, even though people do start new, there's always a connection to the past.
Wait, any questions over there?
I don't know.
4.
That's four.
Wait,
So,
1,
we have
2,
1, 4.
3. 4, yeah.
And I saw like 5 hands being raised, so if you wanna collaborate with this last question, it can be like a paragraph long with the questions.
I can be too.
I'm okay, give it to someone.